Three sisters. There were three sisters called Mini, Wimbla, and Gunadu. They were from the Katoomba tribe in the heart of the Jameson Valley. The girls were young and beautiful, and they were looking for love. Their hearts were captured by three brothers from a neighboring tribe, but that was totally unacceptable by the law of the land. The girls had to marry within their own tribe. Their heart's desires have fallen on deaf ears. Mihani, Wimbla, Gunadu, you cannot marry whoever you want to. The land has strict rules. You can't follow your heart. What are you gonna do? The brothers decided to steal the girls and marry. A bloody battle broke out between the two tribes. There was much bloodshed and many were killed. A witch doctor decided to cast a spell and turn three sisters into stone. He tried to protect them from harm and keep them safe, but he was killed in the raging battle and the spell could not be reversed. Mihani, Wimbla, and Gunadu, you will remain glorified forever as statues. You cannot return to human form even if you want to. You will stand there forever even if you don't want to. People will visit you from far and wide. Behind the stones you will hide. This will turn into a legendary sight. We cannot reverse the spell with all our might. Mihani, Wimbla, and Gunadu, rest in peace behind the stones. What can we do? A planet called Azor. In a distant galaxy, on a planet called Azor, there lives an alien species called Lezor. They reached the height of excellence. In science and technology, there's no precedence. They are wealthy beyond imagination. They have the quality of life. They have full satisfaction. They have war machines protecting them from outside threats. The other species are not so successful. It fills them with dread. From time to time, battle raged with the other species. For their success, they are attracting lots of attention and envy. Lezor's internal politics is very complex too. They have a warring faction who attempted a coup. There's instability on the planet Azor. A full-scale war is looming large with the enemy of Lezor. Lezor is preparing for war from a different dimension. They have sophisticated technology. They can handle the situation. They have a general who could not be trusted. He has been replaced. He has been busted. There was war in Azor many times before. Lezors are still concerned. A war is a war. The year 3220 AD it is. Reality is very different. Much complexity there is. There are thousands of species in this universe. They are killing and wounding one another. A situation they want to reverse. Even with technical sophistication, peace is still elusive. There is still war. It is pervasive. Parallel universe. From the Milky Way, we started our voyage. Meeting the Creator was our choice. We lived all our lives in a parallel world, believing that it was the principal world. There was an Armageddon that destroyed this parallel universe. We have to move forward. We cannot reverse. With bang after bang, thus destroying. It is the opposite of the Big Bang creating. From the control deck, where I was sitting, I could see only darkness, not believing. It was hard to believe that I finally made it. Destroying the whole universe was what I just did. I took the super spacecraft to a black hole. With me, I am taking a few 100 million souls. Black hole transports you to another space. We are making this voyage with God's grace. With unimaginable speed, we are going to take hyperdrive. We have the technology. We can survive. From one space to another, we are moving at a speed that is blinding. We have made 14,000 hyperdrives. We don't have to worry. We can protect our lives. We have crossed an unimaginable distance. We made it with devotion and persistence. This voyage has been running for nearly 6 years. We are embracing the unknown. We have no fear. We will finally meet the Creator in a dimensionless space. God doesn't exist, who says? Haunted. There is an incorporeal being in a tree nearby. She comes out every night to scare the passersby. One day, I was late from school and was passing under that tree. It was already evening, and it was very eerie. There was a rustling noise, and somebody was whining. Somewhere there was a smell of smoke and a fire was burning. It was a forbidden area I knew all along. There is a shadow of a human body, very long. Legend has it that somebody died from burning 200 years ago. She committed suicide. Life didn't give her a fair go. Her soul is still unsatisfied. So she haunts this place every night. She grabbed me from behind when I was passing under that tree. I was all alone and ran fast to break free. She had a strong grip on my throat, and I was already gasping. I started uttering some holy verses, and only then I started breathing. I fainted on the spot after quite a long struggle. The next day, I was in my bed. I didn't remember anything at all. When I was getting home late, my brother came out looking for me. He found me unconscious there, but my body was free. Istanbul nightlife. Istanbul has a vibrant nightlife. It is a city that doesn't sleep overnight. People flock to the streets of Taksim and Besiktas. It has a nightlife that brings back fond memories to us. A city that comes alive after midnight. Beside the Bosphorus Channel, when there is high tide, the bars and restaurants are still busy. The nightclubs are open sites. Losing yourself is easy. Some come here for eating and drinking. Some come here for dancing and loving. You can see the Blue Mosque on the banks of the Bosphorus. During the night, its domes and minarets are illuminated, looking so gorgeous. There are street food vendors after midnight. Some are frying fresh fish under the streetlight. Some are barbecuing intestines. With a cold beer, it tastes just fine. Some are barbecuing chestnuts. The oozing aroma trickles down your nostrils. In your memory, it will long last. Some solicit sex, some sell drugs. Some will swindle you with a little hug. I have been to Istanbul many times before. It has a nightlife that I absolutely adore. The city brings back fond memories. With you, I can share many stories. Spring in Tunali Hilmi Road.
During springtime, when I would walk down Tunali Hilmi Caddesi, Turkish for Tunali Hilmi Road, I would look at the beautiful Turkish girls coming up and down. I could not be bored. I was in my teens, and love was in the air. Holding each other's hands, they would come in pairs. They would hug and deeply kiss. The days in my life I sorely miss. There were beautiful shops, cafes, and eateries on both sides of the road. I would do window shopping, leaving behind my Ford. I was a foreign student studying uni. I was a foreign national living in Turkey. We would go all the way up to Kulu Park, where we would have baked potato until dark. We would have cheap beer in the roadhouse or graveyard bar. I was very young, but I was a star. I had many girlfriends from a very young age. I lived a happy life in my Turkey days. Spring has a different meaning to me. It was the season for love, and love was more important than money. I miss those days of spring in Turkey, when we would wear beautiful clothes and look funky. I made many friends and enemies during the spring of 1994. I had my powerful adversary coming to my door. I still have those friends in my life living far and wide. I paid a visit there with my newlywed wife.
Moonlight Sonata.
There was a carnival in the night sky. The moon was a witness. They were firing cannonballs up in the moonlit sky. There was much destruction that night. Lots of people perished and millions more cried. It was a moonlit night when the tanks rolled down the streets, breaking the silence of the night. The tank shells were pulverizing the houses with its inhabitants still inside. The moon was a harsh witness. It was a moonlit night when the moonstruck man was walking down the street. He was killed instantly. No one knew his plight. The moon was a harsh witness. It was a moonlit night when the fighter jets flew past and bombarded. It was a carnival of light. The moon became ashamed and went hiding under a cloud. The moon is a harsh witness.
Spring in the Sundarbans.
Once I made a voyage deep into the Sundarbans forest in Bangladesh, where danger lurks. You look for cover in a mad dash. Where the majestic Bengal tigers roam. Where thousands and thousands of deer call it home. It is a mangrove forest, a World Heritage Site. I entered the forest through the waterways in broad daylight. I accompanied my wife with an M16 rifle in hand. In addition to the tigers, this was totally lawless land. It was springtime and the wildflowers were in blossoms. I couldn't take my eyes off. It was breathtaking and awesome. It was warm during the day. Colourful birds made nests for their eggs to lay. I was holding my wife's hand all the time. I was careful of the danger at the forefront of my mind. There were bandits and poachers lurking in the corner. We were in our engine boat. We couldn't saunter. There were tree canopies very high. We got to see the beautiful spring sky.
I miss those days in my life.
I miss those days in my life when I was in Turkey, returning from uni every day in the evening. The snow-covered footpath of Ataturk Boulevard during wintertime still makes me long to go back. The oozing aroma of barbecued hazelnuts still trickles down my nostrils. I could still smell the roasted coffee beans oozing out from a nearby coffee shop on Karanfil Street. I miss those days in my life when I could pass the days with innocent laughter and jokes. Makes me long to go back and relive those moments one more time. I miss those friends of mine with whom I used to have chit-chats every day of my life. We would gather up at the library and admire the Turkish beauties. I miss those girlfriends of mine who I had a wonderful time with. I miss sitting down in the canteen in the cold winter morning with a steaming cup of coffee. I miss the festivities of the spring festival that we would eagerly await every year round. I miss those days in Turkey where I spent a big chunk of my life.
Drums and guitars.
Back in the 90s, when I was a student at uni, I would organise rock concerts when I was living in Turkey. Michael Jackson, Prince and Guns N' Roses. I organised their concerts for crazy people in masses. Megadeth, Eagles, Tarkan all came to be my friends. They would all get disappointed in my appearance. If I could handle it till the end, they had their suspicion. In the beginning, I faced a lot of opposition. I looked like a boy who was wearing a gun belt. Drums and guitars were my life. This is how I felt. Thousands and thousands of people would gather at my concerts. Sometimes I would wear a cowboy hat and a jeans shirt. Laser lights, sound systems, and the center stage. People would rock and roll in those exciting days. I made a lot of money selling concert tickets. I was a successful businessman, and people asked about my secrets. I am no longer in the concert business, although my friendships still remain. I still have my guitar, and music is my domain.